Hello, I'm Brandon, and I want to welcome you to the Tansson Talk Show, where our mission here every week is to help bring people together. I always love doing this, and for my second episode of the summer season, I am so excited to welcome Emily to the show. Welcome, so much to the show.
Hello. I'm so grateful to be here.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful to have you on. And so, first of all, how are you doing today, Emily?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I have no complaints, and I'm just so excited, to finally have the chance to speak with you.
Definitely. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and if you're able to, take a moment to go ahead and introduce yourself for the watching or listening audience here today.
Perfect. Hello, everybody. I'm Emily Harrison. I am an ODU student, so I am a senior this upcoming year. I am also the president of ODU PRSSA, which you might know that Brandon was a part of for his, I think, was it 5 years that you were a member? 5, 6?
Somewhere between 2 and 4.
Oh, it was a lot of years, but Brandon was also a part of with me, so I will be the president this upcoming school year. I'm a strategic communication major with a minor in marketing, so that's just a little bit about me.
Well, like I said, I'm just so excited and thrilled to have you on. And so, starting off this, I did want to ask. So, yeah, I know you just finished your first semester of being ODU PRSSA president, and so first of all, how was that experience for you?
Whew. It was a wild ride. So I joined PRSSA in the fall of 2023, and then they had asked me to be the president in the spring of 2024 because our previous president Kennedy had graduated. So I kind of took on the role, not 100% sure what I was doing. Our faculty advisor was also pretty new to the role. He joined in the fall of 2023, so he was new. So we were just winging it on our own. We had a really big spring trip that both Brandon and I got to go on. We went to New York City for 3 days, I believe it was, and we got to go to NBC Studios. We went to the Museum of Public Relations. We got to walk around Times Square on our own, so that was a lot of fun. And then we also had the opportunity to host a ton of guest speakers, which I think was really good for the students who did get to attend those. So we had a really busy semester, but overall, it was probably one of my favorite college experiences so far.
I love it, love that, and and it was so great, of course, being a part of this journey, with you over the course of this semester. And how was it to get, the communication, that you were going to be the next president, especially considering that you had just joined as a regular member, just you
Mhm.
know, weeks and maybe just a couple months earlier.
Um, I was really I have to say I was really shocked when they first asked me. I I really thought Dr. Campbell probably misspoke when he asked me to be the president. I really didn't believe him. I mean, I agreed to it. I said yes happily because, any experience I think you can get while you're still in college is really worthwhile. But I ended up emailing him, funny enough, like a couple weeks afterwards, and I was like, "So you want me to take on a role?" And he was like, "Yeah, I want you to be the president." And I was really shocked, but I was definitely really excited because I feel so passionately about PRSSA. I love what we do, and I love all the opportunities that are within our organization. So I think it was such an exciting opportunity to get to take on.
Well, I'm so glad, like I said, that you were, asked about the opportunity and that you accepted it wholeheartedly. And I mean, like I said, you just did a fantastic job over the course of the spring 2024 semester. And I mean, it was just, so great to, be a member of the organization under your leadership.
You flatter me way too much. Brandon, I swear, complimented me every single week on running PRSSA, and he seriously kept me going. Brandon has a very, very good list of contacts, and he really kept me connected with so many good people to talk to. So, really, it would not have been possible without you.
Oh, I greatly appreciate it. But like I said, you've just done yeah, a tremendous job. And backtracking a little bit, so of course I know that you're a strategic communication major at at Old Dominion University, and so is this the major in university that you always wanted to be a part of and attend?
So it was not. I did not imagine myself going to ODU. I didn't actually find out about ODU until my senior year of high school. I really wanted to go to the beach, and I initially didn't want to be a comm major. I didn't start as a comm major. I started as an elementary education major. I wanted to be a teacher because my mom's a teacher, and I wanted to be just like my mom when I grew up. So I applied as an education major, and I also considered Christopher Newport. I decided not to go that route because I hadn't heard a lot about their teaching programs, so I'm not even sure if how their program works. I think they have an education program, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, so I ended up applying to ODU, and then I got to ODU and I made it through one semester, and I realized I just didn't feel as passionately about teaching as I really wanted to feel about it. So I switched to being a comm major. I was a lifespan comm major. That's what they switched me to. I went home for winter break that same semester, decided I didn't want to do that and I wanted to get an MBA. Went back to school, switched my major to business, took one macroeconomics class, sat through one class period, and switched right back to a comm major. And that's how I ended up here, which is quite the journey. But then I ended up deciding to do a minor in marketing because I still really loved business, and I understood that knowing business terminology really helped me in my stratcom courses because I ended up switching to stratcom instead of going back to lifespan. So I knew I wanted a business minor when I chose my stratcom major, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely does make sense, and that certainly is a nice roller coaster of a journey there. But at least you were able to find something that that you were more passionate in, that maybe didn't have to do with macroeconomics as much.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, but nevertheless, though, I mean, how does it feel now being I believe a few years into your strategic communication major? Does it feel more at home to you?
I would definitely say it feels at home. So I started my comm classes as a sophomore. Um, and I think I started with human comm and like all the basic kind of prereqs that we have to take all of our theory classes. I think you've been through them, so you know what they're kind of like. But I think once I started kind of getting deeper into our theories, I really knew I was where I was supposed to be. I struggled a little bit, I think, with choosing kind of which communication discipline I wanted to go into because I think, 4 or 5 different options in communication. And I wanted to be 100% sure I was choosing the right one for me. And once I kind of got more into the StratCom courses that I was taking, I 100% knew that I was in the right area. Um, I I mean, even today I love what I do. I love the opportunities that we specifically kind of get in our coursework. I think one of the best things that we get is a lot of opportunity to work with real clients and work with real organizations in our courses. And that's what really strengthens our program and what really reinforces the fact that I know that this is where I'm supposed to be.
Well, I really, am glad that you know that this is where, where you're supposed to be, and that you like, being able to, I mean, to have those connections and to be a part of, this discipline in this group. And so overall, like, and you adjusting to, the college atmosphere after high school. So how was that
Mhm.
overall, for you? Because if I remember correctly, you actually live several hours away from ODU.
I do. I live a good 4 hours away. So I'm not from Hampton Roads. I'm not even generally from the area. This is a very different um, cultural area from than where I'm from, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on kind of in our area that I wasn't very used to back in my hometown. I My hometown is pretty small, so there wasn't a ton of people, and everybody kind of knew each other. So when I came, I would say I definitely had a very big kind of culture shock when I moved down here, just because I would say the area down here is much much more diverse than it was back home, since my town was just really really small. Um, but I think I adjusted really well when I moved down here. I really love being surrounded by big groups of people. I love the opportunity to connect with a lot of different people and hear a lot of different stories and a lot of different diverse voices. I like being able to connect with people in all sorts of different ways. And I think coming here really gave me that opportunity more than what I would have gotten back home, and being in a bigger city kind of just gave me more opportunity to explore. I've been here for 3 years now, and I still go new places every single semester, and I love it. I love that I can't ever seem to stop exploring while I live down here. I think there's so much fun stuff to do. It's it's amazing. Seriously, I love it down here. Everybody who knows me, who knows that when I moved down here, I was a little skeptical at first. I didn't know if I was really in the right area, and now they know that I literally love it here. I love staying down here. If there's any place I want to go, it's always back to school. I love it here. So I think it was a really great adjustment for me. And just knowing that I did find my home in the StratCom major, I think it benefits me so much that I would say our area is kind of business oriented, especially when you get in certain areas of Hampton Roads that have a lot of different businesses and organizations that I get to connect with.
Well, I definitely, like that you were able to, I mean, to truly find, a home here and to make it your own. And I know you recently took a little bit of a bigger step towards, making this your home for just a little bit longer.
Definitely. I just moved down here, so I I live by school now, which is really nice. I am very excited. I'm staying down here for the summer, so I opted for an internship down here just because I knew there was a lot of different organizations that could really benefit me down here. So I opted to get an internship, and I scored one at a really, really great company that I believe is going to be an amazing fit for me. So I'm very excited to finish off my last year here. Hopefully, I will stay here after, because I would love to stay here after I graduate because I do love the area so much. So, but I guess we'll see where life takes me. I'm very excited to see what life is like for me post grad.
Well, I'm definitely excited, to see what you're going to do as well. And out of curiosity, jumping ahead a little bit, is so do you know what you'd want to do, post your post undergrad graduation?
hmm So I'm very open. I love kind of everything. I'm really open to new experiences, new opportunities, all sorts of different things. Um, I've considered a lot of different things, whether I want to get a job, whether I want to go back to school and get my master's degree. I'm still very mixed between the two, because I definitely know I want to go back and get my master's, and I'm not opposed to staying at ODU for another 2 years to finish a master's. Um, but career wise, I don't think I've quite figured that out. I love calm. I want to stay in calm, preferably. I still wouldn't be opposed to a marketing job, but I think I don't want to limit myself to one thing. Everybody who knows me knows that I talk about pivoting all the time and how important it is to just learn everything. It's one thing that I take really seriously in my education, is making sure that I have a diverse skill set so that I can really fit in wherever I need to.
Well, that definitely, like I said, makes sense, and I'm so glad that you're working to have a diverse skill set because I know, I mean that's just so important to be able to do more than one thing, and I know of course that public relations and even further strategic communication Yeah, of course, is very broad. And so, is there a particular aspect of that that you prefer over others?
I wouldn't I wouldn't say there's anything that I really, really like have my heart set on yet. I know when I intern this summer, I'm doing a lot with crisis comm, which I'm really looking forward to because I loved my crisis comm class. I had a really great time when I did that. Um, but I think I'm very open to kind of all the different sectors. I think the really great thing about strategic comm and public relations is that there are a lot of different kind of opportunities within the broad title. You don't just have to be one thing or another. So I think really anything under that field really just interests me. I just have a really great time doing comm things, doing public relation things. I love to connect with people. That's where I stand. I love the opportunity to connect with people. So I think that's really what I want to do. That's my only job expectation is I just want to be able to connect with people.
I love that. And yeah, and speaking of connecting with people, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, is that, over your time thus far as, ODU PRSSA president, I know that you've made, a plentiful connections, both, in person and online, and even some places in between.
Definitely. I've gotten a lot of my connections from Brandon, so applause to Brandon for giving me so many connections, connecting me with so many people. I really credit him for most of my PRSSA connections, but I do think one of the other really great things that we've done with PRSSA, like this past spring, we collaborated with the ODU PRSSA Alumni Association, which Brandon is a part of their board. Yay, Brandon. And we had the opportunity to connect with a ton of local professionals who are in our local chapter, the PRSA Hampton Roads chapter, um, which is very exciting. So we got to connect with a ton of different professionals in the area through a networking breakfast that we had one morning. So I think even just beyond PRSSA, um, I guess that's really more within PRSSA though. We still get to connect with a ton of different people, even with outside of our professional roles. I think that we have even within our e-board roles. Like Brandon and I were both on the e-board for PRSSA. Even just regular members, ODU students have all gotten to connect with people through our events, which is really great. So it's not limited to just us. A lot of people I feel like think it's just like people on the board like me and Brandon who are connecting with people and we're reaching out to people and we're the only people who are kind of connecting, and I think that's kind of the one of the misconceptions that we have a lot. And I think sometimes our students worry they're not getting the connections, but they definitely are. um, it's just coming to our events, I guess, and talking to people. Sometimes it's a little scary, but I think once you start putting yourself out there, it's a little bit easier as you go. It's always a little bit scary when you first start approaching people, and it's just getting the handshake in and saying hello.
I love the way that you phrase that. And yeah, have you always enjoyed connecting with people and meeting others?
So I was actually really shy when I first got to college. I was very nervous as a comm major. I definitely at one point worried that I was going to struggle connecting with people and making my voice. I think you struggle when you a lot of people when they start a comm major, maybe they just haven't found their voice to say, "Hi, hello, this is who I am. This is what I want to do." And that was one of the things I felt like I kind of struggled with. I was scared of saying, "Hi, hello, this is who I am and this is what I want." And I definitely think the more you attend, the more that you do things. One of the big things I did was I started going to our career fairs, some of our like club events, all of those things. And the more you kind of just force yourself to talk to people, the better you get at it. So when I started, I was so nervous. I would say taking on my role as the president of PRSSA definitely helped me because it forced me to talk to people, even if I was nervous. But connecting with people does so much for you, especially when you do it in person. I actually started on LinkedIn, love LinkedIn, but it's so easy to send somebody a message and just say, "Hi, I really like what you're doing. I really want to be like you. What are some of the things that you have done in your career that got you to where you are?" Or even if you're still a little nervous about sending a message, just connecting with somebody really helps. It can really build that confidence if you feel like you just don't quite have it yet. But I could go on for hours about how to push yourself to connect with people. But unfortunately, I was very shy when I started college. But now that I've done it more, now that I've forced myself, I love doing it. I love getting to talk to people. So yeah,
Well, I'm so glad that like that you were pushing yourself a little bit outside your comfort zone. Working to meet people and make connections, especially business connections, of course, as you know as a chapter president. But have you also been able to make some personal connections as well, and hopefully some new close friends along the way?
I have. I have. I would say most of those come from our little PRSSA circle. So our e-board, I would say, is pretty close. And fortunately, a lot of us were all in the same major. So we all take a lot of classes together. We work on group projects together. We do all sorts of stuff together. So I think those connections are some of the ones that have turned personal for me because a lot of them are my very good friends now. Like yourself, Brandon, I talk to you all the time about all sorts of stuff. Um, so I think taking those friends, especially the peers that you work with in college, and making those personal is so nice. Um, but I think most of my personal connections have come from just our organizations that we work in. I know in one of my other organizations that I'm in, uh, I've I serve on an e-board with them too. But so many of those girls within the organization have also become some of my very best friends. So I think it's really nice when you can take those connections, those more professional connections, and then turn them personal and make really great friendships out of them.
I love that, and of course, I know too that before you were even named ODU PRSSA president, that I believe that you were on the e-board of your other organization, and so how was it trying to balance all of that with the with the presidency sort of given to you at last minute?
Yeah, so I am also the director of marketing and publicity for her campus ODU, which is a online magazine publication. So I was working on kind of marketing and PR stuff for them. I helped with social media and some of those little things. And on top of that, we also write articles. So I was writing articles at the same time for that. So adding in the president role, I'm not gonna lie, at first it was a lot. There was a lot of stuff to learn, and typically the president would have kind of the summer to run through all of it. I didn't quite have that long. So I basically scanned through everything that I got, all the documents that we had. Um, and then I was really grateful because our faculty advisor, he kind of said, this is your organization now, and you get to do what you want, and you get to lead it how you want. And he gave me a ton of freedom, which I think really helped me in the role because I was so worried about fitting the standards that we had on paper. And we really got to do what we wanted this semester. I know Brandon and I collaborated on a few events, and we got a lot done. We did a ton this past semester. We didn't have a ton of time to plan, but somehow we managed to get all these guest speakers and these events, and it was amazing. And then I still managed to do my other e-board role, which was really great. It was just kind of about finding that good balance to fit this is when I need to do the stuff for this organization. This is when I need to do my tasks for this organization. And this is my time to work on school and my homework. So it kept me busy all semester, but I know that I'm in the right field. I love what I do. And so because what I love what I do, it's not a chore to me. It's not something that I sit down and I think, "Oh, I have to do this." It's something that I think and I'm like, "Oh, I get to do this and I want to do this and I'm excited to do this." And so I think that's what makes it so much easier when you really, really want to do it and you enjoy doing it so much that it's kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's exciting. It's something you want to do. And it's not a chore. It's not a chore. So I think time management and then knowing that you really want to do it and not viewing it as a chore.
And I will say though that yeah, I know we spoke about this a little bit before, but you just accomplished so much in just so little time. Especially like you mentioned that you didn't even have a summer to prepare, or even a winter break to prepare for that matter.
hmm I had a little bit, but I know we met right before the semester started. So I got all the documents kind of right before the semester hit. And we were also talking spring trip and anything else we wanted to do. And then, we plan way far in advance. I mean, we're already looking at what we're doing in the fall and considering what happens in the spring. So we plan pretty far in advance. We don't really have those plans this past year just because of our time constraints. So everything we did, I would say, was very last minute, but fortunately, I think we pulled it off really well. I think we really did. So I'm really proud of everything that we did accomplish, and I really owe it all to the other e-board members who were so welcoming and helped guided me through everything. When I had a question about how to do this, or this, and I had no clue. Everybody was so open to helping me. So I really owe it all to you guys because I could not have done it alone.
Well, I mean, but you just provided such great leadership for us, and yeah, it worked to continue the legacy of our amazing organization, and you were given an award for that as well.
I won the C's, which is Student Engagement and Enrollment Services. I won their 2024 New Leader of the Year award. I did not expect to win it. I really didn't think I was going to. I think the topic this year was about making change in, I want to say, I don't know if it was the campus community. I want to say it was about the campus community. It was something like that. And I guess I received an email saying that I had been nominated, and they um, suggested that you submit your own nomination, a self nomination. So I did, because I thought, why not? I might as well try my luck. And so I won, which is very, very exciting. Like I said, I really didn't expect to win it, but I'm really grateful for everybody who supported me on the journey of being president for, what was it, 5 months. So, and I'm very excited for the upcoming school year. I hope we win another award so that we keep the streak going, because then it'll be our third year winning an award. Because I think last year they won Student Organization of the Year. I think it was that PRSSA had won. So I'm really hoping we keep our streak. Um, but yeah, it was really exciting, and I'm so grateful. Um, but you know, obviously, owe it all to my e-board. I would not be the leader that I would be without you guys. So a piece of that award is also for you guys.
Oh, well, it's definitely, like I said, you've just so deserved it. And you've done an amazing job with everything. And I will note too that since you were mentioning that you weren't even expecting the award, is that you weren't even there to actually receive the award.
So I was not there to receive the award. I unfortunately had a last minute emergency that I had to attend to. Um, and I guess I had thought like maybe they would give me like a heads up that I was gonna win and that I needed to be there. Um, but they didn't, so I didn't think I was winning. Um, and I knew there were some other really great student leaders within the community. So I chanced my luck and I didn't go. Fortunately, our upcoming vice president Parrish, he was there because he helped with some of the voting, I believe, and he took a video for me. So I do have the video of it, which is really nice. I really wish I could have been there, but like I said, last minute emergency, unfortunately. So I wasn't there, but hopefully I will be there next year. I should be there next year to see who wins next year. I wish I could have been there to cheer everybody else along. I know they have some really great awards, so I definitely wish I could have been there, but life happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm just so glad at least that Paris was able to to at least get you a little recording of of your name being called, and of course I had the pleasure of having Parrish on my podcast. I believe 8 episodes ago, and so I'm just so thrilled for your new your new upcoming e-board, and I know you are actually sticking around for the next year to continue your term as president.
I am. So I looked through kind of my credits and I do believe I could graduate in the fall if I wanted to, but I think I'm gonna stick around and stay through the spring, just because I feel like if I graduate in the fall, I just won't be finished, because there's just so much more that I want to do, while I'm still at ODU. So I will be sticking around for another year, and I'm very excited to see what we do with the new e-board. We have two new members on the e-board, one person taking Brandon's spot as the online liaison, and then Parrish taking the spot of vice president for Sierra. So I'm very excited to see what they do in their roles. I know we have some stuff we have to meet up. We have to meet up this summer and chat through ooh, chat through some things to kind of talk about what they're going to do in their roles and some of the things that they want to do, just because I want to give them as much freedom as possible to use their creative outlets to do whatever they want, because I'm a firm believer that this organization is not for us. It is for our students and what they want to do, and I love getting to know what they want to do. Brandon can tell you at my first meeting, I went around the room and I asked everybody what they wanted out of this, because it wasn't I may be the president, but it's not my organization, it's their organization, and I wanted to make sure that they were getting what they wanted out of it. So we really plan kind of what we do in the semester around what the students want to do. And so I'm really big on that we make sure we're doing what our students want to do.
And I really love that, like I said, that you are very, I mean, student first within, your leadership. And I mean, like I said, I've just truly, like I said, enjoyed, speaking with you now, of course, but also, throughout this past spring 2024 semester. And so I did want to actually shift gears a little bit and ask, so I know you have your internship, coming up, and of course that you'll be in by the time that this releases. But are you able to tell us a little bit about what you'll be doing, and have you had any previous internship experiences?
Mhm. So with this internship, I'm interning at a credit union. So sort of what I believe to be my main job for the 10 weeks that I'll be in it is working on their crisis comm plan. Like I said, I really liked crisis comm, so I knew this was kind of fit for me, and it was something I wanted to explore more as an option for a career. One of the reasons I chose to intern at the place I am, or that I chose to apply, I had a friend go through their internship program and she loved everything about it. They're also a top rated internship program, and they're very family oriented. The company is very family oriented. I personally would say I'm very family oriented. So their values really kind of lined up with how I feel. And so I really do feel like it'll be a good fit there. I've already connected really well with the members of the organization who I've worked with, or who I've met with so far. So I do really feel like it'll be really good for me. It seems like they're really good on communication, um, and all of those things that are really important to me. And then on top of that, I found out when I posted about my accepting my internship on my LinkedIn, I found out that a ton of the people that I had talked to and I had met actually knew my supervisor and had worked with her before. So I am very, very, very excited to work with her this summer. Um, and then there is a lot of opportunity from what I've heard within the organization to do more just beyond my role, to kind of do a lot of different things, sit in on meetings, work on different projects, all of that. So I'm really looking forward to getting to do all of that because I love a good challenge. I love hard work and putting all the effort in and going above and beyond in my work. So I think it'll be a really great fit for me. Um, and I have interned before. So I actually interned at ODU in our student engagement and tradition office. I worked on primarily social media marketing for them. So I helped run their main social media page, and then I also helped create some templates and some posts for the Greek life page that we have. Um, so, really, with the social media, I got a ton of freedom with that. So, a ton of those posts that you'll see on the feed right now, those are all ones that I made, which is very exciting. I did I don't know if you saw Brandon, but the senior post, the one that was the letter to seniors, I did that one, and I think it did like 255 in likes, which was really, really good for what the current engagement on their social media account was. So I had a really great time kind of getting to learn that. I was also taking a social media marketing course at the exact same time I was doing that internship. So I got to implement a lot that I had learned in that course kind of into what I was doing in my internships. So I think that was also one of the really great things that I had when I did that. But overall, I loved that experience. I actually might be helping them out a little bit more in the fall. They offered me kind of the opportunity to potentially come back and help out with some social media content for their events because they're very busy in the fall with homecoming and kind of just everything that happens in the fall. The fall is very busy at ODU. So um, I might get to go back and work for them a little bit, which I think will also be very exciting for me.
Wow, that is so exciting, that you're able to do that. And I'm so glad that your post was able to get so much engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so, continuing forward with this, I know we've spoken a lot about, of course, your, professional life and your time at college, but Emily, I actually did want to flip this a little bit. And so, what have you been up to, personally over this past year or so?
Whew. I have been up to a lot. So, obviously, I just moved into my little home here, in Norfolk, which is very, very exciting for me. But before that, I lived at home on my breaks. So, I have spent a lot of time kind of flipping my life more to that professional side of things, um, because I was a junior previously. I'm a senior now. So I've kind of been preparing myself a little bit more for that life post grad because I know that I wanted to be prepared for it. So kind of in my free time, I like to do things that I feel like are going to be beneficial for my professional development and kind of my life when I graduate because I definitely want a job when I graduate and I want to be prepared for all that. So I'm really big on continued learning and I really value learning even when I feel like I'm on a break. So one of one of the things that I like to do is like I really have taken the time to kind of do some learning just beyond the classroom. So taking part in those student organizations is something I really like to do in my free time. Like I said, I'm in her campus, so writing articles in my free time and keeping myself engaged with what's going on in the news is really important to me. I This year I just downloaded my news apps because we got lectured by Amber Lester Kennedy, who works for who works for ODU, on staying on top of the news. And I finally downloaded the news apps, and I keep up with them after she had told us all about it. Um, I also like taking little courses as you can. I had LinkedIn Learning for a little bit, and I liked taking those courses to kind of keep myself up to date on some topics that I was interested in. I know, particularly for one of my classes, we kind of learned about all the Adobe software. So I got the opportunity to kind of take a peek at all of those and learn more about those. Um, and just kind of being mindful about the time that I spend not in the classroom and making sure that I'm not, I'm taking enough time to rest and reset and taking care of my mental health, but also making sure that I'm still doing things that are going to be really beneficial to me in my career, in my professional life, just outside of the classroom, because I think learning definitely does go beyond the classroom.
I wholeheartedly agree that, and I like that. One of the overall themes of this discussion too is that is lifelong learning, and and continuing to learn, whether it's in the classroom or in life experiences, and especially for you in your ODU PRSSA presidency role. And so, has learning always been a part of you? Because of course I know, as you mentioned, that you originally wanted to do elementary education. So did that have any correlation with it?
So, even in high school, I was a really focused student. I would say I always really valued my grades, and it was really important to me to show up to school. I think all through high school I had perfect attendance. I didn't miss a single day of school. And I know when I got to college, I kind of took a look at that and I said, this me focusing this hard on achieving these grades and showing up every single day, maybe it's a little over the top. Maybe I'm stressing myself out a little too much, going over the top and focusing on these nitty gritty things. So when I got to college, I kind of changed that mindset, and I think it's really helped me a lot the way I do things. So for me now, I focus on doing my best, and I know that I'm doing my best work, and that's kind of what gets me through. Um, and I'm still really focused on my grades. I would say I think most students want good grades, but I think putting your time and effort into knowing you're doing your best work is so much more important than focusing on like the nitty gritty kind of like, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Am I looking like the perfect student? And instead, engaging in the best way that you can. I think joining different organizations really kind of helps you focus in on what you like to do. And I think it took me. I didn't join student orgs until my junior year because I just wasn't sure what I exactly wanted to do. And I think those are really great because you make those personal friendships. Like I said, you make those in there, but you're learning at the same time, and it's such a healthy way to learn. I feel like in the student orgs, you learn so much because you're learning about your career field outside of the classroom, unless your meeting is inside the classroom like mine are. So you're still kind of in the classroom, but um, you're learning, you're making friendships, you're connecting with people, which is also really valuable. And so I would say learning has always been really, really important to me. But when I got to college, I kind of switched that mindset to where it's healthy learning instead of getting myself stressed out all the time and focusing too hard on the difference between a B plus and an A. And Yeah, so I think definitely even in college, I'm still very focused because college is very expensive, as we know. It's not cheap to be here, so it's still very. I mean, I still go to class. I don't miss class for no reason. So I still have, I would say, pretty close to perfect attendance. If not, I do have perfect attendance in my classes. But um, yeah, I think once you enjoy what you learn, I would say that's also a big difference from high school because in high school you're just kind of forced to learn what they say you're going to learn. It's a very standard curriculum, but when you get here, you kind of get more of a choice. So when you enjoy what you learn, it's not the hardest thing ever.
Well, I really love, like I said, the way that you put that, and I'm glad, of course, that you're not missing any class for no reason. But at the same time, though, I'm glad at least you're able to relax a little bit more with it and take it in, personally, making sure that you can personally comprehend while not burning yourself out, because I think it's just such a fine line in there.
Yeah, I think burnout in college is so easy. I know my freshman year, I felt like I was in burnout 24/7. I was also in my gen eds, so it wasn't necessarily stuff, I guess, that I really wanted to learn. I'm not a very, I wouldn't say I'm a very science forward girl. I can't say I love science classes and taking my, I think I took a human science class, and I was not the best ever at it because I, once again, not a science girl. But I think once I kind of got a little farther along, I the burnout lessened because it matters more. It well, I guess I wouldn't say it matters more, but it matters personally more.
Well, that certainly, like I said, makes sense. But I'm just so glad, like I said, that yeah, that you're here today and that you're continuing to learn, but doing it in a way that benefits you personally. And so, before we get closing out, I did want to ask. So, looking into this next academic year ahead, and even later into the summer 2024, like what is next? For you both personally and professionally.
Well, I haven't quite got that far. I have ideas, but I guess I haven't quite gotten that far. I do have my courses for next fall, so I'll be back here in the fall. Well, I guess I'll already be here, but I will be back on campus in the fall. And funny enough, I'm taking a podcasting class. Surprise! So maybe I'll start my own podcast, but I'm hoping I do a third internship in the fall. I would really, really like to do another internship, just because I think I love being an intern because I love what I do. So it makes it really fun doing what I do because I care so deeply about it. Um, wow, I feel like there's so much I want to do. PRSSA wise, I know we've talked about agency tours and we're going to California in the fall, which is very exciting for the international conference for PRSSA, which is very exciting. And then we have talked about our spring trip, which I won't tell too many details right now, but I will say it does compare to our New York trip if it works out. I hope it works out. It will be so much fun if it does work out, and I'm very excited to hopefully get some planning in on that later in the fall. Um, but yeah, I like to kind of be surprised by what comes. In comm, everybody, all my professors so far, one of their favorite phrases to say is that you should always be prepared for something to go wrong. You should always be prepared for your plan to not work out. So sometimes I just like to go with the flow because it's nice that way. It's nice to just kind of, I I don't want to use the phrase deal with it when it comes, but it's nice to just have things come as they do and then do what you do when it does come. So um, I think that's kind of where my life is leading me right now. I'm very happy to see. what shows up on my doorstep.
I definitely love that. And yeah, I know my high school yearbook quote was actually be prepared for everything. So I completely, get that. But yeah, I'm just so glad that we had a chance to, to speak here on the podcast. And yeah, and beginning to close out, where are the best places for people to potentially, find you if they would like to connect with you and continue hearing your story?
So, the best place to connect with me is LinkedIn. Brandon does connect with me, and I think you'll probably see me share our little podcast episode when it comes out. So, the best place to find me on there is, well, the best place to find me professionally is on LinkedIn. You can find me under Emily Harrison. Um, and I'm an ODU student. So, really just kind of look for those details if you want to find me. So, that's really my only professional platform as of right now. But I am very good at messaging people back, and I would love to connect with you. So, if you want to connect with me, please, please, please shoot me a message.
Well, I'm definitely hoping that, those tuning in definitely do so. And last but certainly not, least for this, I did want to allow for you to go ahead and close out today's episode with whether it be a life lesson, inspirational thought, or whatever the case may be. The floor is all yours, Emily.
Oh wow, there is so much that I could hand over. I guess my last piece of advice that I will leave you guys with is to find what you are passionate about. And you are going to know that you are passionate about it because it's not going to be hard. So do not force yourself to try to do something just because you think it's going to please somebody else, or you think you'll make a ton of money doing it, because the money should never be what matters. It should always be what makes you happy. One of the biggest pieces of advice I ever got is that you're going to be happy if your happiness is never less important than the money that you're going to make. So never stop looking for what fuels your passion.
I absolutely love that. Thank you so much, like I said, for all your support and for, being guys here. And I definitely am just so excited for what you do, personally and professionally going forward.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. And for those tuning in, thank you so much, as always, for tuning into the Tansson Talk Show. I always appreciate your support. And of course, continue tuning in every week during the summer season as we continue on our mission to bring people together. I'll see you next time. Take care.